I will start with these English conversations. Today, we are talking about Lombok Annotations. I'm thinking it's a important library for Java development, and it's opportunities to know about this library and some annotations importance. Okay, have you heard about Lombok annotations? What's annotations uh, about Lombok? Do you know, for example?
I don't know anything about Lombok annotations. It's my first time to learn about this topic.
Okay, and what about you, Eladio?
I know getter and setter, their entity, a lot annotation.
Okay, and let's learn some important annotations, these libraries. Okay, and some annotations very important is for this library is getter and setter. Okay, and anyone can read this paragraph, please. Only read. Okay, anyone?
It's very small for my eyes. I don't can to read.
Can you see this screen? For example, generate getters and continue, please. Can you read, please?
Generations getter and setter methods for classes fields, reducing the needs for manual boilerplate code. They can be employed at the class or field level, allowing fine-grained control over access.
Okay. Do you use these annotations in Java?
Sometimes
Okay. And what about you, Eladio? Do you know about these annotations?
Sometimes I use it in my project.
Okay. And the next annotations is to string. Okay. Uh, but before speaking about these annotations, uh, I would like to speak about get it and set. Okay, uh, when uh, you 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 are developer some projects in Java, for example, you can use these annotations, get, etc. And these annotations replaces get, etc. Okay, I'm thinking it's reduce many codes in Java, for example. Okay, uh, usually uh, to write get and set, but with these annotations get and set, uh, you can reduce some codes, for example, in your project. Okay, and about toString, do you know about these annotations?
One question about the getter and setter. What's the difference between getter, setter, and the data?
I'm thinking you can use online data because
Mm,
these annotations uh, you can you can you can have getter and setter and the other uh, annotations. Okay,
okay,
for example, uh, you can use a getter and setter, no problem, but uh, you can only use the annotations data. Okay, because the annotated data uh, that these annotations have a getter and setter and the other annotations. Okay,
okay.
I'm think these annotations replaces the other annotations. Okay,
Okay.
and about the true string, can you read this paragraph, please?
Generate a toString methods for a class, include of fields. It facilitates debug and logging by providing a concise representation of the object states.
Okay, and can you explain about this annotation, please, in English?
I don't use toString in in my project personal.
Okay, and what about you, Americo?
Still the date, I don't use it to string. I don't use it to string.
Okay,
I don't know how. I don't know how method when do you use.
okay. I think it's important these annotations for developing Java because you can have a method called toString with the with some attributes. Okay, and you can construct this uh, uh, the the values of these attributes with these annotations. Okay, for example, I can have a method called toString, and this method is I can have some values of these attributes, for example, okay, and after you can initialize uh, you can call it this method, okay, to a string, for example, tá? And the other annotations, it's very important is too, is equals and hash codes, okay. Have you heard about these annotations? Do you know about these annotations?
No,
Okay, can you read this paragraph, please? Anyone? Only read, okay. Eladio, Américo, can you hear me?
Your turn, Eladio.
Okay, go ahead. Only read this paragraph, please.
generate equals and hash code maths based on class fields. Each answer consists between equality and hash code calculation.
Okay, you can have a attribute, uh, for example, ID, okay. uh, about these annotations, for example, um, I have a attribute called ID. I'm thinking the ID is unique, okay, and uh, you can use these attributes with equals and hash codes, okay. And the other annotation is arroba data, okay. And anyone can read this paragraph, please? Eladio or Américo?
It is concise annotation that combines the functionalities to string equals and hash code, getters, setters, and required args constructor. Essentially, it automates the generation of commons boilerplates code associated with simple plain old Java object, ojos, and beans.
Okay. Can you explain about this annotation, please? What do you think about these annotations? What did you learn about these annotations? Eladio or Americo. Do you have any idea about this annotation? Okay. And the other annotation is value. Okay. Arroba value. Can you read this paragraph, please, Americ? Can you hear me, Americ?
Yes,
Okay. Can you read this paragraph,
that
please?
it's it's Eladio. Is Eladio.
Okay.
Because the last it's I.
Okay. Can you read this paragraph, please, Eladio?
It is the immutable counterpart to data. It automatically sets and fills as private and final, eliminates setter and defaults the class itself. Final. Like data, it generates essential methods such as toString, equals, and hash codes. Each field receive a getter method and a constructor covers every argument is also provided. Exclude final fields initialized in the field declaration.
Okay. Can you explain about these annotations, please?
No idea this annotation.
Okay. And the next annotation is non, null. Can you read this paragraph, please, Americo?
Generates no checks for a field or a parameter in a method. When applied to a field, Lombok generates no checks in methods that use or set that fields. When applied to the method parameter, Lombok generates no check at the beginning of the method.
Okay. Do you know about this annotation? Okay. And the next uh, annotation is no argues constructors. Okay. Uh, can you read this paragraph, please, Elijah?
Generate a no-argument constructor for a class. This constructor initializes the fields with their default values, which are particularly is useful when working with framework like Hibernate that require a default constructor.
Okay. And about these annotations, what did you learn? Can you explain, please? It's a default method, or with no argument. Okay, I think it's very common to use it these annotations when you don't have a constructor uh, with no arguments, you know? Okay, and the next annotations is required args constructors. Can you read this paragraph, please, Americo?
Generated is a constructor that includes only the null and final fields of the class. It's useful when you have fields that are marked as final or are annotated with no null.
Okay. What do you think about this annotation? For example, I'm thinking it is very common to use these annotations when you have a final. Uh, for example, it's common to use these annotations with ingestions dependence. For example, okay, in your service or in your controller. Okay, for example, if you if you call this your services in other class, for example, I think you can have these annotations. You can use these annotations. Okay, it is not necessary to implement to the constructors. I think these annotations replace the constructor. Okay, and the other annotation is awards constructors. Can you read this paragraph, please, Elijah?
Generates a constructor with parameters for all fields in the class. It initializes all fields with the provided values.
Okay. These annotations uh, you can have the constructors with all arguments. Okay. I- If you have many attributes in your classes, uh, you can use these annotations for developer the constructors with all arguments. Okay, and the other notation is builder. Can you read this paragraph, please, Americo?
Implement the builder patterns for a class, providing a fluent API for object creation. It simplifies the instantiation of complex objects with many optional parameters.
I think it's common to use these annotations when you can uh, create these objects. I think it simplifies your code. Okay, uh, and you can you can you can have optional parameters. Okay, but it's common use these annotations with records in Java. Okay, I think it's common to create a record in Java. Okay, and use these annotations. Okay, uh, and the other annotation is with. Okay, can you read this paragraph, please, Elijah?
Generates a new instance of the class with modified values for specific fields. It is commonly used for immutable classes, providing a convenient way to create a new instance with change to a specific field.
Okay, okay. Welcome, Honey. Could you introduce yourself, please? Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm picking my microphone. Right.
Oh, okay. Today, uh, it's a English conversations about annotations, uh, Lombok annotations. Okay, and do you usually to use Lombok annotations in your project?
Well, can you hear me perfect?
Yes, I
Can you
can
hear me
hear
good?
you.
Okay. I study. I'm studying Java for 2 years, right? Um, I'm found uh, I work with Java or stay in trainee or junior, and I start now in the ecosystem Spring. I know some annotations, and I know I use Lombok in some projects or exercises, but I I read an article saying this Lombok now is useless or unused. It's right or fake?
Okay, and it's our opportunities to know about some annotations about the Lombok annotations. Okay, and about these annotations with. Do you know about these annotations or not? Can you hear me, Honey?
Yes, but your voice are picking.
Can can you understand me very well or not?
Yes, yes. Can you repeat, please? Because your connection are difficulty voices.
Okay, no problem. And about these annotations with, do you know or not?
No, no, no.
And the next annotation for Lombok is SLF4J. Okay. Uh, can you read this paragraph, please, Americo? Can you hear me?
Pode tirar o negócio? Obrigado. Integrate with the simple login package for the Java automatically creating a longer for the annotate class. It simplifies logging without the need for manual logger installation.
Okay. And what did you understand about these annotations? Base it on the informations about these annotations. You can explain about these annotations with these informations. Okay. And the next annotation is clean up. Okay. Can you read this paragraph, please, Honey?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Can you read, please?
Okay. Automat at cleanup. Automatically close the resources like streams or sockets in the end of the block, reducing the likelihood of resources leaks. Unfortunately, I don't know this annotation and I don't know what that's mean.
Okay. Welcome, Demos. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay. Uh, good evening, everyone. My name is Ronnie. I have 30 years old. I'm from Recife, and I'm study programmation for 3 years old, and I'm making my high school, my graduation in system development and analytics. And my English is so bad. I'm practicing every day, and I see this group on LinkedIn and Instagram, and I follow for maybe 2 months, and that's so it's so special for me because Java is my favorite language, and here I'm right. Stay here because more I have more to learn here.
Okay. And what about you, Demos? Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Demos, the other person, call it Demos. I'm thinking it's your name or your nickname.
No, I have no nickname. It's my name.
It's Demos. Demos. Good night. I can't talk right now, but I still listen. Okay, no problem. And the next annotations is sneaky froze. Okay. Can you read this paragraph, please, Americo?
Excuse me.
Sorry, I are returning.
Okay. Can you read, please, Americo?
Okay, I
Yes, this
the
paragraph.
sneak truth. Surprises check exceptions within a method without explicitly declaring them in the method signature. It simplifies could be avoiding the need for excessive tree-catch blocks for checked exceptions that are not expected to occur. However, caution should be exercised as Uncheck acceptance is not count within compiler.
Okay, thanks for participating. Okay, uh, okay, and shared your thoughts. Do you like Lombok? Which Lombok annotations do you like or not like? Let us know in the comments. Okay, and about this material, I'm thinking there are many informations about the Lombok annotation. Okay, it was opportunities to learn about this library, very important. Okay, and thanks for participating these English conversations about the Lombok annotation.